Remember, the more practice we get, the more expressive and easier our movements can become. Some carelessness might appear in the work, so at some point, you can allow yourself that. With a sense of beauty and shades, so there are no sharp transitions from very saturated to very light. Also, maintain a balance of sparseness and overlapping strokes. Sometimes we aren't afraid of letting it spread. Sometimes we step back one element from another and give them space. You know, I want to experiment. Generally, it's not advisable to mix 3 paints together, but now I'm going to set up the cluster that's in the foreground. Let's see what happens if we take purple and add a tiny bit of pink. The whole surface is covered with blue, and here I have a connection of a After that, I add petals, adding leaves and petals in the background with a very light shade. Now I'm moving on to working with the leaves. Even though the brush was quite dry and the movement was quick, here the water soaked the paper and the dark spots spread naturally. Creating a set of several shades. Framing the clusters with leaves. This is the moment that made me switch to working on the leaves. Before setting up this cluster, I painted a few leaves. I hide part of the cluster behind them. The intersection of forms will give us depth. With a very light shade of ink, I add a branch and sepals. It should be much lighter here than here. This is the interesting story that's unfolding. Next, we'll add a fragment of the vine. We don't have much space for it here. The vine will be shown just a little, but we'll mention it. Adding a lighter shade with a flat brush so the branch doesn't overpower the leaves. Trying to connect everything together. acting according to the circumstances. Everything else is improvised. Adding texture. I don't want to overload the story here with this beauty, not the vine. Remember, our course is not about botany, but about the spirit of the flower. If something didn't connect, didn't fit, we try to play it off and not give the viewer unnecessary information. So, about the composition. We have the main object in the foreground. It's more saturated in tone. Now I'll explain why I wanted to introduce a bit of red and pink. Red and pink make our cluster warmer and bring it even closer to us. Accordingly, the secondary one is smaller in size and in cooler shades. The third cluster is about the same size as the main one, but it's much lighter. Because of this, the third cluster doesn't compete with the first, but creates an extraordinary depth in our scene. In fact, you can convey the depth by adding more light leaves here. Some group of leaves peeks out from behind the cluster. Another important point, the three clusters are not spaced equally apart. These two clusters look like a common group, a common spot. If the distances were the same, there would be excessive symmetry. These are the nuances in the composition. I suggest you repeat this composition and, if you wish, try to execute it in a horizontal format with these nuances and tonal depth. I'm sure you'll really like this scene. You'll discover extraordinary depth, rhythmic movements, and try to paint it to music.